Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm JJ Flazanes, your producer and empowerment strategist. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about understanding cellular integrity. And before you think this is going to be over your head, I promise you it's not. Dr. Sveta Silverman breaks this down very simply and beautifully and slowly and in a very animated fashion. If you want to come watch her on jjflazanes.tv, this is also on video. She is a former pediatric surgeon from the USSR and is a Canadian board-certified breast pathologist. In 2004, after losing her mother to multiple myeloma, Dr. Silverman is on a mission to learn and teach cellular health and dis-ease. She teaches the power of nutrient-dense foods, power of thoughts, positive thoughts, and drive to happiness, power of exercise, essential supplementation, and cellular upregulation. The goal of her life is to inspire people to take charge of their lives, health, and ultimately happiness. And she is one of the metabolic approach to cancer doctors from Dr. Nasha Winters. And I invite you to not only listen and or watch today's show. Her website is Hugs with Sveta, and it's Sveta. She's adorable. And she also has a YouTube channel, and she teaches a yoga class, and I believe it's free. So you can take her yoga class. It's a chair yoga, I believe, or maybe she goes back and forth between chair and regular kind of yoga, depending on who is joining her. But please make sure to check out all the links below. Check out jjflazanes.tv if you'd like to see her and watch us. She's very animated, and I hope you'll be inspired and enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the show, everyone. If you are finding this on the podcast, know that we do have a video, and Dr. Sveta is with us today, Silverman. And if you're finding this on YouTube because this is of interest to you and you're a fan of Dr. Nasha's work or Dr. Sveta's work, and you're not so keen on me, that's totally cool. Where can they find more of just you? Because I'm an empowerment strategist and a producer, so I will be having much of conversation. I will be talking. I won't just be listening. I will be talking also. So, Dr. Sveta, where could they find more of you if they want more of you after they hear this and they just love everything that you're saying and they want everything that you have and they want to know everything you know?
Well, first of all, thank you, Gigi. Absolutely honored. So they can find me on my website, www.hugswithsveta, Facebook page, Hugs with Sveta. Even send me a request on my private Facebook page if you wish. You can Google me. I have my YouTube channel, Svetlana Silverman, Svetlana Silverman, and I get notifications and I tend to reply. So that's where you're going to find me.
Excellent. Okay, I'm excited about today's conversation because obviously, if you haven't figured out already, Hugs with Sveta, right? We've got yes.
Hugs with Sveta. Hugs is happiness, unlimited gratitude, success.
Yes, you are 100% in alignment with all the things. And so I wanted to emphasize that with people so they understand the energy at which we're coming at this in terms of this complete open-hearted giving position that you're in. And when we discussed what we were going to talk about today, one of the things that I think stuck out about Dr. Sveta, and she is one of the metabolic approach to cancer doctors with Dr. Nasha, is about understanding cellular integrity. And she's all about the cells. You can see she's got a microscope right next to her if you're watching this on the video, right? So she's all about cellular integrity. And I really want to start with a little bit of your background before we get into that. Those who listen to the podcast have heard me read your bio, but for those who are finding this on YouTube, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? I know that you were a former pediatric surgeon. So let's just do a little snippet about where you were and how you got here.
So thank you for asking. So actually, everybody has the story. Whether you touch by disease or you're touched by somebody in your close circle with disease, that's how it all started. Yes, I am a former pediatric surgeon from the CCCP, which stands for the Soviet Union or United something, I forgot. And I immigrated to Canada in 1989, and by Canadian rules and regulations, lost all my credentials and was cleaning hotels. And then slowly but surely, there was only way for me to get into the system as to get back into medical school. So I'm a double graduate. I am a local graduate. I graduated from University of Alberta Medical School as double conventional doctor, through and through allopathic physician. Didn't know, well, being Russian, every Russian knows some sort of a traditional alternative medicine. We're Russians. So, but, Western medicine obviously is very allopathic. And in 2003, life changed, and that's what it's all about. It's hugs about Sveta, because it's about hugs. It's about my mom. My mom is hugs. Every hug I get is a sign from my mother. And with COVID, we denied hugs. So I'm searching for my hugs. So anyway, hugs. Naisha will tell you hugs. I'm a hugger. So anyway, so in 2003, mom was diagnosed with deadly cancer. And I was on the verge of, I was finishing my residency in pathology. I absolutely cognitively chose to practice pathology. Being a surgeon, I did not want to go back into the operating room and live my life in the hospital. However, I wanted to be parasurgical. So I wanted to be around. So I deal with the tissue and stuff. There's another thing that is completely controversial. You don't know how to do this, is how to explain to this. I didn't want to see patients. And I love people. So go figure it out. That's the path. So I chose pathology. And during my 4th and 5th year of residency, mom was diagnosed with a deadly cancer, and that's it. And it's not that I failed my mom into, let's say she crossed, that was her soul, that was her path. However, she's absolutely my hero, my star, not the idol, but somebody, she's my angel. There's no ways around it. She was an angel when she was living and stuff. So anyway, and she was a star. She was a bright star. So when mom was struggling and going through that deadly multiple myeloma, it's one of the deadliest cancers, I failed myself more than I failed mom, because I didn't know what to do. I was lost. And sometimes when you deal with these adversities, you don't feel the best. You don't present the best. And that's how it all evolved. And then I started learning. Somebody introduced me to my journey to health. Started with being desperate. Okay, try macrobiotic diet. What is macrobiotic diet? Let's not get into the macrobiotic diet. I do not teach macrobiotic diet. I teach a live diet. I don't teach dead diet. So, and that's how it all started. Mom crossed, and I keep learning. I'm a perpetual student. I learn all the time. The more I learn, the less I know. The more I learn about cells, the less I know about cells. And then it evolved. So my thing was, I started with being mortified by cancer. Being a cancer pathologist, I am a breast pathologist. So now learning, so my take is, let me understand the cancer and let me understand the cell. So then I can put together how not to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because, I do tumor boards. Every Wednesday I do tumor boards. And when they present a patient, every patient comes with a breast cancer. She has a breast cancer, otherwise she's healthy. And I always open my eyes. Yeah, right. Healthy cells don't have cancers. But in our allopathic perception and perspective, somebody who is walking and talking, having obesity, having high blood pressure, having diabetes, pre-diabetes, hypertension, thyroid problems, stress galore, that's a healthy person. And that healthy person develops cancers. And then we start looking at cancer as a genetic disease. Well, it can be, but by and large, it's not a genetic disease. Of course, the genes are the ones that trigger things, but something needs to trigger and tick those genes. So then they start sending the signals to operate and start replicate the bad cells. So if everything is fixable, because that's my goal, to understand what is triggering and how we can fix it. And the thing is, for me to teach my whatever, my friends, my clients, the connections, people who reach out to me, to teach them, you are in charge. You are in that power. You need to understand what you did to yourselves. You did A, B, C, D, E. So now let's reverse it. You did this. Now let's do this.
For those of you that are on the podcast listening and you're not looking, that's okay. We made a little, that's why you want to come watch the video. Just come on over, jjflazanes.tv, come watch the video, because it was a very easy finger movement that Dr. Sveta made.
It's a spiral.
It was a spiral moving in one direction and then she reversed it in the other direction. So yeah, okay.
It's amazing. I see behind you mind, body, soul. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you are walking stressed out like a spiral, you are a tight coil like this. If you don't uncoil it, you're going to have cancer. There is no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes about it. And we need to understand this. And this is not in the pill's power. This is in my power. So and you cannot avoid stress. You can't, especially right now. We are in that situation. We are we're floating in uncertainty of everything, and we try to be instilled so much fear right now. So everybody's stressed one way or the other. So we need to take care of it. There is no taxi to take me to the gym. I need to take myself to the gym, whether I like it or not. It's much easier to watch a TV with US trials, Olympic trials, great sport. But it is not my body that is exercising.
Yeah. Can we talk about, I want to dig into, I love everything you just said. And I want to take our title today, Understanding Cellular Integrity. And you and I are on the same page in terms of what we know or believe, or the way the science, it's in your hands, that it's in your, you talked about genetics, but talked about epigenetics. I want to talk about the mitochondria and the molecular side of cell integrity in terms of people who think, and you're right. I was shaking my head, for those of you that aren't on, and I don't know if you'd even see me on the video when you were talking about the obesity and the
hypertension, diabetes,
hypertension, right? And this is a healthy, and they're considered healthy, and that's where, in my view, healthcare isn't healthcare; it's sick care. And most of us, until something like cancer happens, which is like at the end, like there's all these signs before you ever get to cancer that tell you you're not healthy.
When cancer happens, there's a light bulb goes on, and then I'm scared, and then I start thinking we need to think proactively, not retroactively. Right. It's a prospective, not retrospective.
Right. But people still aren't on that because it takes work. It might be uncomfortable, I know. But let's talk about how I can attend to my cellular integrity. What does that mean? What are the parts and pieces? What am I doing to help myself? And what am I doing to hurt myself?
Should we start with hurting yourself and stuff? Okay,
wherever you want to start. Well,
people, so here's the deal. I was telling JJ that, again, I'm not going to tell you what to do per se, what kind of drugs to take or something. No, because being into per se intricacies of the cells and metabolic pathways and stuff, I'm extremely minimalistic and simplistic. And I go by nature, per se by nature, because people don't understand. Well, let's get me the magic pill. Let's get me the magic bullet that is going to thin me. And that is, okay, fine. Oprah, I love you so dearly. I'm watching your Weight Watchers, and I'm watching someone who is propagating losing 30 pounds and holding a glass of white wine and eating pasta. Well, sorry, this is empty calories. And it's not about caloric consumption, but it is about caloric consumption with very dense calories. Absolutely, it's about calories, because calories is your energy. But every calorie that goes into your mouth has to have a meaning. Every mouth bite, every mouthful has to have a meaning and has to have density. It has to have a nutritional density. Any one of us. This is my philosophy. And I don't have very sort of, lolling approach to this. No, this is your responsibility. So pardon my language, suck it up. Meaning that the foundation of your health doesn't start with pills, doesn't start with supplements. Supplements are called supplements. They're not called substitutes. They're supplementing. So this is like the last part to that pattern of living. The pattern of living starts not even with foods. The foundation of health starts with happiness. And yes, it's hard. It is hard. We wake up and we're stress galore and stuff, but it starts with cell to me, and I may very well be wrong. Cell to me, it's all about energy. As everything is energy, but cell is an energy. Cell is about plus, minus, plus, minus. And you plus, minus, physics, energy, that voltage, the thing. So the normal cell, for example, the normal cell voltage or something, it's, for example, 800 hertz. And you need to aim it with everything. Whether this is a prayer, whether this is a laughter, whether this is something, whether this is your food, whether this is your exercise, your water, and your cancer cell, let's say, is 600 hertz or something. I'm just, speculating. So energy, and your energy starts with, again, happiness brings hurt up. Have you seen unhappy monks? Well, sort of not. Have you seen Dalai Lama? Happy dude, beautiful smile. Desmond Tutu just passed away. I met Desmond Tutu. I met Desmond Tutu in 2001 at World Athletic Championship in Edmonton. And everybody was leaning towards Wayne Gretzky. Well, so am I. But then there was Desmond Tutu, and I leaned towards Desmond Tutu. He was radiating. The guy had a radiating smile on him. That's the energy. And why do we say per se meditate or pray? Because we bring that energy. When you listen to monks, chanting they're chanting it on a certain volume, because it brings the cell to that energy. So it's not the drugs, you're working on that energy. So find that happiness. Find that happiness, it's us. And it's not that per se story that you need to get into divorce or anything like that. No, it's escaping. My happiness is my responsibility and its connection. Am I miserable? Oh yeah, I am miserable. I am. But then I am going to meditate. And trust me, for example, it's a Russian talking to you, type A personality. We don't meditate. We push iron. But meditation is not necessarily where you block your thoughts. No, but you're putting that effort. You're bringing that some sort of find the happiness. Watch a happy, stupid movie where you laugh profoundly. Find something. So that's that's number one for the cells. Then we're talking the cell. What is the cell? So basically the cell is lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates. That's what the cell is built of. The complexity of the cell, all these structures and mechanisms and enzymes and reactions, it's all three things. It's proteins, carbs in a different variety, and lipids, fats. So we need to make sure that they're all the good ones. Now, so here comes, so that's what the cell is built of. This is the composition of the cell. So A, you need to keep that composition. It's like the house. You need to build your house with a proper foundation, proper bricks, and then proper insulation. These are your carbs, these are your proteins, these are your fats. So then you need to bring it, right? You need the supplies. What are your supplies? Well, your supplies are not Twinkies. because the Twinkie supply is not going to supply your cells, but it's going to supply your constipation and a leaky gut. So you need to think of that supply. So here comes the food. That's where you start linking your foods to the density, to that caloric density. That's where you need great fats. You need fats, no offense, buts, or maybes. Well, essentially, let's say in Alberta, Canada, we had, let's say, minus 35 Celsius. It's well over minus 30 Fahrenheit. We need that, some sort of insulation. We need fats. So we need everything. Oh, don't eat these saturated fats. No, eat your saturated fats. Just eat the right saturated fats. Eat the saturated fats from wild fish, from game, from free range, grazing animals. Well, still somebody has to explain to me the concept of happy killing, but we need to eat that so it comes somehow. So the same thing with the protein. We need enzymes. What are the enzymes? Enzymes are proteins, so you need the proper proteins. And the same thing comes from the carbohydrates. You know, I will start linking towards mitochondria. How do we get the energy? And what is the energy for the cells? So now let's say, so food is the next foundation, right? So, okay, food and cellular health and cellular integrity. Then we need to stay hydrated. Over 70% of us is water. But the water is different from water. Sorry, people, do not do tap water. You to take charge of your water. You know, find the clean, please. I'm sorry, maybe I'm offending some, you know, some companies. No plastic bottles. No plastic bottles, and know what's in the plastic bottles. You know, you need to take charge of your health and be very firm about. This is no, you know. So now we're getting to the foundation in the cell, healthy cell. So what is a cell? So cell is a soup of organelles that are bounded by the envelope, right? So it's like a plastic bag. So that's an envelope. And then there's a soup of organelles with different degree of importance. Every organelle is important. So now, do you want your organelles to float in a rotten soup, which is called cytoplasm or cytosol? You don't, right? So now, do you want holes in your plastic bag or in your envelope? No. Now, do you want your envelope to be crinkled and stuff and broken? No. You want very flexible. You want continuous integrity of the cellular envelope, because that fluid, flexible, integral cellular envelope, a cellular membrane, allows the communication of the cell to cell to cell, and it allows the proper, so the cell envelope is the gate to the cell. So it has different gates, it has different channels. Some channels are opening, some channels are closing, because there's a beautiful interplay. There's a conversation and connection and a tunneling and everything in the cell. And you want everything you want to work properly. So you need so without proper cellular membrane, there's no cellular integrity, because the cell is not integral. Fine, leave it alone. Cellular cytosol, cytoplasm, cellular soup needs to be clean. We need to think about it. We need to start thinking oxidative stress, cellular stress. Heard of free radicals? Cellular stress, stress in the cells. But stress in the cells come from the stress outside the cell, from the different variety. Fine, so now organelles that are floating in the soup, some of them, well, everybody knows about and think, oh, nucleus, DNA. This is the most important thing of this, genes. Well, guess what? Something else operates the genes, and that is called mitochondria. We don't call mighty mitochondria for no reason. because mitochondria is mighty. Mitochondria is life, literally. If mitochondrias, there is no one mitochondria in the cell. There are multiple mitochondria in the cells due to the significance of the cell. But if the mitochondria are dead, guess what? The cell is dead. And when the cell is dead, eventually organism is dead. What keeps mitochondria alive is how clean the mitochondria is, the mechanisms. What keeps us alive is how clean mitochondria is functioning. So now I was telling you, okay, fine, the low fat diet, low carb diet, low something. Well, carbs are different from carbs. See, I am a very hardcore. I don't do refined carbohydrates. Sorry, I don't. I don't have excuses. And there is no Christmas. There is no Passover. There's no, Kwanzaa for me. There are. But during these holidays, I will still find the ways to eat without refined carbohydrates. There is no need to go for cookies or cakes. There's so many other good desserts because energy that we get, we function. If you find yourself, so now it's 2:38 and I'm in full-blown function. I had my lunch. I did not need a nap. If after lunch or something like that, you need a nap, your mitochondria is not up to snuff. Mitochondria is not up to snuff, meaning that it does not give you energy. Mitochondria is literally a powerhouse of the cell. It gives you energy. If you're finding that your lack of energy, your mitochondria is not working. How does it do it? It combines the food, aka other, here comes your carbohydrates. Yes, you do need your glucose, but your glucose will come from good sources. You need your either glucose or you need your free fatty acids. So fatty acids, fats from a good fats. Then these things are going to be combined with oxygen that we breathe. So that's why we need to breathe. The majority of us don't breathe. We do shallow breathing. Why people meditate and do yoga? Because we do pranayama. Because we do prana life yama breathing. Because then we can combine that oxygen and that food source and combine it into the energy, which is called ATP. ATP is that energy that literally gives us the energy. It's energy, nothing you can say, it's energy. So now, healthy mitochondria will give you energy. Unhealthy mitochondria is still going to utilize food and the oxygen. Oxygen is there and convert it into garbage or into cancer, because mitochondria will drive cells into cancer. And the funny part is, it's actually the two simplest ways to improve your mitochondria are not drugs and are not supplements. It's a caloric restriction. Well, I'm not talking starvation, and it is exercise and nothing you can do. These are two simple things that's scientifically proven. You go to your PubMed, you go to your studies, it's randomized studies, two simplest things. And those two simplest things may be the hardest things because that's your commitment. It's much easier to pop the pill. It's a whole lot more harder to consistently attend to the gym. No excuses. There are no excuses.
And food restriction. Let's talk about, we've talked a lot on the show. Dr. Mindy Pills has been on for talk about fasting, and Dr. Nation and I talked about fasting in her first interview. I think I was supposed to do the metabolic approach to cancer. And then her story was so fascinating. I kept diving into it. I'm like, so what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? So like the only thing that I could do, and I didn't even choose it, was fasting because she couldn't eat.
She didn't eat.
And because she couldn't. But now there have been studies for years. This isn't new information, but what it is becoming is more mainstream. What it is becoming is more practice. So we have more results so that we can say, here's what people are doing to help with cancer. And with other kinds of anything from diabetes to, I mean, fasting is definitely one of the best tools that we can use.
Finally, I just attended San Antonio annual breast cancer symposium. Every year in December, we have San Antonio breast cancer symposium. And we're talking finally, there was alternative medicine and then they were talking dieting and conventional therapies. It's becoming a mainstream. It's becoming a mainstream, the fasting before radiation therapy, a fasting before chemotherapy, fasting during, a little bit after and stuff. Yeah, different fasting mimicking diet and stuff. Again, guys, you need to understand, diets have a failure rate of 99%. We're not talking diets. We're talking lifestyle changes. So nobody's talking calorie restriction diet because it's unsustainable, because it's going to make you miserable. So to become before the wedding, get into the dress and then start gorging, and then your weight is going to explode. It's like, and I'm watching it all the time. People are getting skinnier and they're getting, back to their age. I mean, back to their weight.
Right.
It is that's a whole thing. It's a lifestyle commitment.
So in terms of, okay, so what we're doing wrong that decreases our cellular integrity and therefore our health and our susceptibility to cancers and chronic diseases are obviously the bad foods that we're eating and the not exercising. And so basically then on the other side, you did talk about what we could do to help cellular integrity in terms of how we change our food. Okay. What other factors influence cellular integrity that aren't food?
Well, I don't know whether you say water is not food.
Okay, well, water. Okay. Yep.
Well, the thing is, I also what influences us, the way we live. What are you eating from? Plastic. What's on your body? What are the hygienic products? What are your skin products? Have you checked how toxic they are? This kind of things like, shampoos, conditioners, deodorants, all that stuff. Where are you living? What's in your house? Have you checked your house for molds? Have you checked your house or have you checked your environment for toxic metals? This kind of things. I'm not crazy in terms of, I can't live in vacuum. I would love to live off the grid. I will not. Now, hello.
Oh, cell phone. Right. Yeah. EMF.
Hello.
Right.
So electromagnetic fields. Now, so you see my cell phone, for example, well, it's obviously, but it's in the shield. This is electromagnetic shield protector. So, I mean, and am I going to give up my beautiful iPhone with all the, little things? No, I'm not. However, at about 7-8 p.m., the cell phone goes into my office and is not allowed to enter my bedroom. This kind of thing. So there are things we cannot, like, I'm not crazy per se. Some people, well, maybe I'm crazy not doing it, but some people do EMF canopies and they wear EMF protective shields, these kind of things. Absolutely, whatever knocks you fancy, but you need to be aware of it. So these environmental destructors, so let's say, I just said environmental destructors, and for example, let's say xenoestrogens. So these are also these are hormonal disruptors, and these hormonal disruptors, they are in your reach, and they are in your reach of your comfort zone. Because again, I told you about the plastic bottles. I told you about, let's say, boxes. Don't buy boxes, food in boxes. Make your own food. Buy your own food. You please know what's in your food. Even going to the restaurant, I don't know what they put there. I love to go to the restaurant, and I hate to go to the restaurant because I don't know. I don't do canola oil. Sorry. This kind of thing. So yeah, different. It's like a lot of things.
Well, can we go back to, we had started before I pressed record, you were talking about the emotional side. Can you address, because, and I know you know that's what I do. Like, that's my thing, right? That's my thing. So talk about
the major thing is the stress.
Yeah.
The major, absolutely major, like massive. No, because it's not about all about cortisol, but that's what it is. Because same thing. Let's say cortisol is our stress hormone. And that cortisol is attached to our well-being. So there's a triangle, sort of deflating a little bit. There's a triangle: gut or microgut, immune system, and brain. And that triangle is connected. So brain, immune system, and microgut/gut. Brain. When we think of a brain, that's where the stress and the cortisol, that's how we process it, right? So cortisol is affecting, that stress is affecting not only what is called hypothalamic pituitary axis, HPA. And hypothalamus controls all the hormones. Pituitary, it controls all the signals to the pituitary, which gives all the signals to make the hormones. And then it all sits with that cortisol thingy. So when you have too much, so here's the deal. You've got a stressful episode in the day, your microgut just went down by 30% or more. Maybe temporarily, but that's it. Your bacteria, your microbacteria and stuff, they got hit by your thought. So now your microgut is not healthy. Now, guess what? If your microgut is not healthy, then it's not going to send the proper signals to stimulate your immune system, because your microgut controls 70% plus of your immune system. And surprise, surprise, your microgut is 90% of your brain function, because 90% of the signals comes from the microgut, 10% from the brain. So stress, and the thing is, we cannot control the income of the stress. It comes into the life. It's called life. But we can't control the outcome of the stress, because that's how we handle it. So if you know that you are stressed out, and the thing is, yes, when you're stressed out, what you do, it's called comfort food. Everybody has comfort food. Now, somebody has a comfort food as a Dunkin' Donuts. Adjust it. You need a comfort food. I give it to you because I need it. I need comfort food. So here's my comfort food. And I don't feel bad about it. It's called chocolate. But my chocolate is not a Hershey chocolate. I do Hershey Kisses as into kisses, not into chocolate. So this is 100% bitter, organic, raw chocolate. Well, this is 90+% because I need some sweetness. And that comes from organic coconut sugar and everything. So this is per se my leave into a comfort food, something like that. So then I know that I was hit with a stress a couple of days ago. It was tough. I had to hit the gym. Well, actually the yoga mat. I knew that I needed to breathe. You get stressed, you gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. You got to in and you got to out. And it has to be a long in and a long out. 5 times, 7 times. You still, but your cells already feeling better. They're getting more oxygen. They're getting more life. Stress is so bad. Stress is probably will be one of the main etiologic factors of cancer, because the majority of cancers, guys, are not genetic. They're environmental cancers. The outmost frequent cancers are female breast, man prostate, lung, female, male colon, and female endometrial. These cancers are not genetic. They're all environmental, or we can call it epigenetic. What does that mean? Genes is your gun. Environment is your trigger.
Boom. Yes, Dr. Lipton, Bruce Lipton's been on the show. We've talked about epigenetics several times, and I harp on it too, because to me, even all the scientific things that we do, let's say inside the container, will not have the same response if the entire container is influenced from a quantum physics, epigenetics, negative, fear-based, stress-based, right? And and I know I'm going to have to adjust my language at some point, because everyone will raise their hands to stress. Oh, I'm stressed. But the moment I'm like, you all suck at processing emotion. Oh, I don't have emotions. Like, well, what do you think stress is? Stress is emotion, because you can have two people in the same environment reacting very differently. One is upset by it and one is not. What's the difference? Your brain and how you interpret things, and many other factors in that. But so I eventually will have to add stress into what I talk about, because I'll look at it as emotion, because that's what it is. And I know women are more likely to take that. Men
and
don't
we
want
hold it up. So breast cancers, emotions.
Yeah.
Talk to Nisha Winters. She will even separate it from right to the left, different kind of emotions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guilt, colon cancer. So many, that's a thing. And no, we don't have emotions. We don't have stress, and we carry them. We don't express, we carry them till somebody starts pulling them out of us.
Or
and
until you start
ashamed to actually open up and release it. That's a thing.
Right. I know that's me. That's what I do. But I wanted to be able to share all the other things, and to, again, get another, for the 15th time, somebody who can acknowledge that your emotions and stress kind of play a big part in this whole health game.
Huge.
Yeah. Huge. So, but in terms of what we can do for cellular integrity. So Dr. Sveta, you're like an anomaly of doctors out there who are just literally only just passionate about doing the education right now. And you do work with people, but it's really, you just want to help people and educate them. So I want to be able to
hang on, because because like Betty White just died, and she touched everybody. And she died probably as a wealthy woman. Who cares? But she touched people because she touched people by her kindness. And she was good to animals. She touched. That's a whole thing. When we are, on the deathbed, it's not about millions. It's like at the end of the year, I keep asking myself, what did you do last year? Did you change? How many lives did you change? That's a whole thing. Did you get better? Did you learn something? But how many others did you help? And it's always like bothers me, because not enough. There are people who, it's like, I don't need the accolades by no, it's just, how many people did you change? That's the thing.
Yeah. And we feel that. And I want to support you in that. So again, go to her YouTube channel, go to her website. All the links are below. If you're watching this on the video, the links are below. If you're on the podcast, the links are in the show notes. But please be in touch with her and follow her and read her blog and watch her videos and reach out to her. And do you teach a meditation, yoga, or a yoga class?
I'm a certified yoga teacher. So what I do every Sunday, and you can join me because it's free, it's on Zoom. Every Sunday, I do chair yoga, chair/floor yoga. I call it for my geriatrics. Because, people actually are under perception that chair yoga is easy. No, it's how you make it. But the thing is, because, I don't put them through hot yoga Bikram. No. But what we do is, I give them a chance to sit on the chair and stretch. And we do stretching and breathing and, these kind of things. And then, don't worry, I put them through the poses. But it brings so much joy to everyone, and so it brings health. And people tell me, it's like, oh, I had just knee injury and stuff. That's fine, because you're on the chair. So we'll do the arms. You can still breathe. You have a knee injury, but that's a whole thing. So yes, yeah, we do every Sunday. I do chair yoga.
That the type A Russian is going to stick to that schedule no matter what the holiday is too. So make sure to connect with her and get in her yoga class. Dr. Sveta, you're a delight. And I really appreciate your heart, your message, your passion, and you breaking this down. If you weren't able to watch this, you might want to just come back over to jjflazanes.tv because she's so cute. And like you're moving around, because that's what I would like. You make more complicated things more simple, and you do a very good job. You're a very good teacher. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. One of the best movies is Forrest Gump. You need to explain like I'm a 4-year-old.
Perfect. Well, you did a great job. Thank you so much for being on the show. Please reach out to her, take her yoga class, and visit her on all the things that I mentioned, and we'll be keeping you up to date as to what's going on. And I really appreciate you taking the time to educate the audience.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Enormous. Thank you. Thank you, Naisha Winters.